All right, YouTube, what is up? It is your boy Javo, and I'm chilling, just working on some rosters here for All Pro Football. And I spent some time this week working on the Bills and the Browns. They're not 100% complete because obviously, the draft just happened a few weeks ago, and you know we haven't even got to training camp yet fully, so the transactions are still coming in, and players are going to be shuffled around. But I'm working on a roster for the new season for NFL for All Pro Football 2K8. So I'm just going to play one quarter here, guys, so you can take a look at the roster. Give me your feedback if you have any comments, and I love to hear your thoughts. See how the game plays. I got my own custom sliders in, and difficulty levels. So penalties, all that stuff. It's all custom, and I think it's set pretty difficult. So just keep that in mind when you're watching the plays here. So yeah, so for all you guys out there who enjoy all pro football, if I can complete this roster, I'll put something out there for you guys. It's going to take me some time, so just try to be patient. And my plan is to go through this entire 32 team roster one guy at a time, and set each one of these guys manually, every bit from their the way that they look to their photos. One thing I'm going to be doing is making sure that every player has a real face. I can't stand those generic faces. Those are just not very appealing to the eye. So as you can see here, all the guys on these two teams are going to have legend faces. The upside to it is that you don't have to worry about seeing the generic faces. But the downside is that you're going to see, they're all being shared, so you can only use 11 legend faces in per team. So the other players are sharing those same exact. That was my bad. The other players are sharing those 11 faces, so you're going to see the photos and faces being shared across the teams, across the players on the same team. So, but I don't think it looks too bad. You probably really can't tell unless you nitpick. As long as you set the faces to look, realistic, and they're all spread apart your legends, then you really won't have that much duplication going on. So yeah, so I'm going through, like I said, I started a brand new roster from scratch. Nef1 was working on some rosters, and I basically I just started from scratch, man. I just basically ditched what he had, and now I'm going through everything one by one, and I'm just doing my own thing, just to make sure I go through every player. I'm not completely sure where he had left off, and how complete the file was. Plus, it was early on before the draft. So I just said, you know what, screw it. I'll make my own roster, and I'll do the best I can, and we'll see how it goes. So, I'm not the most experienced roster maker, but I know I like simulation football, and I like my my game to look as close to the NFL as possible. So his face looks a little funny in there. He's probably got a big guy's face. Ooh. See what happens there. Nice kick. So what I'm trying to do, guys, I'm looking at everything. So I go through, obviously I set all the bio, the bio correct with the college and the years pro and all that good stuff, and the weight and height. I like to set the names. So even though in this game we really haven't figured out how to make the announcers call the players by the last name only, I still would rather hear the last name with another name, another first name, than just hear the number. So it just makes it more immersive for me, So I get all the bio stuff done. I pick like a legend face as close to the ones I can get. When you're sharing faces like this, your generics aren't gonna always have a perfect face, but for the legends, I try to make sure that I keep them as close to the real thing as possible. So using the editor, obviously, that I created for All Pro Football, I go through all the equipment. I make sure I scout these guys and make sure that they have, that was a good pass. And, I make sure that they have the right equipment, and I do the best I can, because obviously this game doesn't have everything. Like, one of the things that they don't have are, as we know, they don't have dreads, they don't have mouthpieces. The nasal strips are only one color, they're all in white. What else? You're limited by certain things. You also have the sleeves, you can only put long sleeves on these guys. You can't put the short sleeves, which I think Madden still has that issue. But you can get pretty close. The uniforms I'm using here are not done yet. I haven't spent time working on the uniforms. This is just I think this is from what I had for Buffalo, and I think Neff had some that he did that I had left over for my uniforms file. But I'm planning to go through the uniforms and make sure that they're crisp, and I may bring some people in to help me with that. I need to concentrate here. These guys are gonna make a move. I can feel it. So yeah, another thing too, guys. In the beginning of the video, it shows you the breakdown of the guys with the tiers, the different gold, bronze, and silver. So if you guys have any questions on, or feedback on who you think would be a better fit for these medals, let me know. I'm just trying to do my best here, and like I said, I'm making it as close to NFL as possible. Not only do I have the appearance looking tight as I can get, I'm also trying to get the attributes to look legit. I use their combine stats, and I also use their their stats from their career. So if they're rookies, I try to look at what they do in college, and oh man. And, I research their tendencies and basically see what I can get, and basically use that's good. Use the video highlights as my kind of gauge for what abilities they should have, and also their stats. So we'll see how it plays. This is my first game, and so far I've done, like I said, I've done the, oh man, I was right there. I've done the Browns and the Bills. I'm probably about 65% done with the Dolphins. And I'll be putting my gameplay on here for you guys, and I want to hear your feedback if you're interested in, sharing any feedback, any criticism, good or bad. Like I said, this is something that I'm trying to do, and hopefully it comes out tight. Yeah. So, you know, we got McCown starting. I'm kind of hoping that RG3 starts this year. I think he deserves a second chance, man. I hope that guy does well. I think he had some great potential, and that injury just set him back. And I don't know if it was the coaching staff at Washington or what, but I really would love to see him get an opportunity here in Cleveland. So we'll see. We shall see. See if I can get a little. Man, it's hard to run with these sliders, you know, just so you guys can see what I'm rolling with here. Pretty damn tough. I'll just give you a quick look just so you can see what I'm running with. So, any feedback on the sliders too, let me know. I'm working on a project right now, just to change gears here. I'm working on a project with this game, and just to give you a little hint, I'm trying to work on some way of. Ooh, nice dive. Some way to get the logos in the game. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, so just don't, you know, hold your breath. It's just something I'm playing around with, and you know, if I have any progress or make any moves, have any successes with that, I'll let you guys know. But you know, I still think this game. Oh, he's wide open. Go. I still think this game is. Oh yeah, baby. Go, 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 go. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, boy. Woods had him beat. Taylor put it right on the money. So you got to set your feet in this game. You can't just throw off on the run like that, especially not a deep pass. I mean, that was just money. I just want to see real quick, guys, how this defender played him. So looks like he's got, who's this on him? Hayden. And Hayden's pretty good. So let's just see what happens. Let me just back this up. Just want to see the interaction here. Oh, I guess he tried to play. Oh, they're playing zone. Oh, okay. I see what happened there. So they switched up. So we got 26 on them. So that's their bad. They made a bad call there. Have more running against him. Sorry with this camera, guys. So he was already beat. He caught up to him though. But see, what you won't see in this game is you won't see warping. You know, you won't see the guy just Superman and just, you know, warp right into him or do some crazy jump. You know, he's running full speed. He's only going to jump so high. I mean, he barely even got off the ground because he's running full speed. I mean, what's he going to do? And Robert Woods takes it to the house. So, yeah, so those logos I was just talking about, guys, I mean, I'll leave it at that. Don't even probably think too much into it. It's probably not going to happen. But if I make any progress, and don't be surprised if you see some crazy video coming soon. With the real logos in this game. You guys are gonna go nuts if we could do that. I'm gonna go nuts if we could do that, but we'll see. So yeah, so this game's not perfect, you know, especially when you're trying to recreate the NFL. It's very difficult to get a lot of things to be NFL reality, I guess. You know, the uniforms can only be so good because you're limited with what they have. Obviously, the logos are a problem. Oh, that's Barnage, man. He's a beast. So, what's I gonna say? Yeah, the authenticity So another thing that's difficult to get to make it feel like the NFL is the commentary. You know, I mentioned earlier about the last names. You know, you can only do so much with that. And then the team names. You know, they call them by the real names, by their real names. So they'll say the Swashbucklers and you know the Legends and the Red Dogs. So you just gotta kind of just don't let that bother you. I think the commentary in this game is great. It's not perfect. You know, a lot of it was taken from ESPN 2K5 and the ESPN series, so you know it's recycled a little bit, but they still did a very good job with the commentary in this game. You know, even though it's an old game and I've heard a lot of the lines already, it's still pretty fluid, and they seem to do a pretty good job together as a team to make the game feel feel live, you know. But yeah, I mean, like I said, hit me up with some comments, guys. If you see anybody that's off, you know, I'm not a Browns fan, so you know, me, I'm more comfortable with the Bills. But like I said, I mean, I'm up for any mistakes you see, anything that looks a little off. Let me know, and I'll tweak it. So Josh McCown, 7 for 10, not bad. He's accurate for the most part. It's just getting old. What else? What else? Oh yeah, the new Madden 17. You know, you guys probably heard my videos. I just got back from vacation today, so I wanted to put this video out to just show some gameplay, and start testing these rosters. Oh, get on him. Good defense, boy. Who's that, Darby? Yeah. Nice defense, Darby. You're not a rookie anymore. Now you got to show up. So, so yeah, just doing some testing here. And, you know, Madden 17, you know, I heard all the interviews from CMF Ball Critic. You know, I heard some of the EA Play commentary impressions. You know, I've watched some gameplay, so I'm keeping up with the Madden news. You know, even though I'm not happy with the way the game looks and the fact that they still have the same core animations, and the game just looks and feels a lot of what we're used to seeing every year. See? That was nice because McCown can scramble. So I'm glad I saw that because he can get around, believe it or not. So that's cool. And this is going to be competitive rosters. I mean, you got to get your game together, especially with these sliders. Sliders are no joke. And that's the one thing, guys. So, I mean, you know, when you're making rosters, you're not only dealing with the roster, you're also dealing with the sliders. You know, a roster may work great for one slider set, but then it may work like trash for a different one. So, you know, there are a lot of things that impact the performance of the game, and it's not just the roster itself and the players, it's also the sliders, penalties, etc. But going back to Madden, you know, I'm keeping up with the news. You know, I like I said, you know, I think that it's great that they're putting in all these features. You know, it's all talk right now. We really haven't had a chance to get our hands on it, and I'm sure there's going to be issues like any other game. But you know, my stance is still one that they need to. I mean, look at that running game. I mean, that's legit right there. See, Madden just doesn't have that for me. You know, when I play Madden, it just feels so robotic. You know, like so automated. But you look at this run here, and I'm sorry guys, but I just want to show you how the blockers. Look at the blockers. I mean, it's just they all grab a guy. You know, if you look at each one of these guys here, they all grab a guy. Even number 79, he goes off to the left and grabs the guy over there on the left. You know? But you see the way these guys move. I mean, this is what we want. You know? And he just puts him, pancakes him to the floor, you know? And he's trying to reach. Oh, he almost gets him. But he doesn't get him all the way. Even there's a little clip in there. And I don't mind that, though, because it's still... He's still moving. Hayden right there still moving in the right motion, and he's still affecting the play. I mean, he even hurdles right there. Because he can't, you know, he can't get out of that hole there. And when he hurdles, you know, he gets stuck. So, I really enjoy the running game in 2K. I think it's got a lot of strategy to it. You can either sprint or you can hold down and charge up, you know, depending on what kind of running back you have and what you're working with.